My name's Trent Post. I'm 28 years old, and I'm here to tell you a little story about me. I was raised in a single-parent home. My mom raised 3 boys by herself, God bless her. Two of them, my 2 older brothers, they're 8 and 9 years older than me. And so I think by the time, my opinion, I think by the time my mom got to me, she was just tired. When I was about 9 years old, I can remember already starting to get into trouble, already being a very angry child. I can remember stealing things. I had already started smoking cigarettes at like 9 or 10 years old. I had already become sexually active, so I kind of did whatever I wanted to, and I had no father figure there to tell me what to do or even to see an example of how I should live. So I pretty much just went along and did my own thing. But then when I got into junior high, I started hanging out with some new guys, and we would go into grocery stores. We'd steal alcohol. I was doing a lot of things. I was huffing gasoline, huffing Glade potpourri. There was even times where we'd skip school a lot and go over to my friend's house and we'd fill up bags of Freon out of his air conditioner and huff it and get high. You know, I mean, that's coming real close to dying right there. And I was like 13 years old. So in the 8th grade, when I was 14, I'd gotten this girl that I was dating pregnant. And her parents and her decided to have an abortion. And at that time, I didn't care. I was 14 years old. It didn't bother me. I just kept living life. Every girl I dated, I think I pushed around or hit or slapped. And there was many a times where I'd punched holes in my mom's walls, probably at least 15 times. There was even a time, you know, where I laid my hands on my mother, which, you know, that affects me a lot today. Me and my mom have an awesome relationship today, and for me to have done that, I still ask myself why and where'd all that anger come from. All right, so I'm in high school and I'm really not going a lot. And I'm still dating this girl, and we go back around some of my old friends because I haven't been hanging around them. I've been kicking it with this girl, and they're selling cocaine now. So I try some. We tried some one night, and I liked it. And from right then, I just kept thinking about how can I get back up with them? How can I hang out with them? Because I wanted to do it again. I really liked the way it made me feel. It made me faster. It made me feel good. So I was always looking for a way to get up with them, and eventually me and this girl fell apart, and I got up with them. I started selling coke, and I was selling coke for a while, selling coke, doing it, and eventually I got set up and arrested when I was 17 years old for selling delivery of cocaine. And I ended up getting a little smack on the wrist, had a little 9 o'clock curfew, had to go do some classes. Kept doing drugs, knew how to work my way around the system, and probably a month and a half later I ended up getting, about a month and a half later I ended up getting a DWI when I was about, well, I was 17 years old. So by the time I was even 21, before I was even a legal age to drink, I'd had 3 DWIs and a sale and delivery of cocaine, a felony charge, and a slew of other just other stuff on court records, juvenile court records. Just really, really dark time in my life. And even though I thought I was out there having fun, it was miserable. And so my 21st birthday rolls around, and we go out one night partying real hard. I had court the next day for my 3rd DWI. So I woke up the next morning late and went to court hungover, and they thought I was still drunk, so they made me had to take a breathalyzer, and I blew a .07 the next day at like 11 in the afternoon from the night before. So they held me in court, and they gave me a date which was like 2 months out. It was like 60 days out, and gave me a bond, and they put me in jail. But I had a bond to get out, but my mom was done with me. She wouldn't get me out no more. So I had to wait for that date in the county jail. And while I was in there, that was the first time I really kind of prayed and read the Bible, and it's blurry to me I really don't know what led me to pick it up. And so my date came around for court, but it was a week early. And so I went to court, and they gave me pretty much a time served, and I got out, and I could have called my mom or somebody, and I called the same guy that I was running with right before, living in that real dark time, and got up with him and went out with him that night. Just went right back to that mess. But one thing I noticed when I got out was that I wasn't angry anymore. It was gone. And so that was kind of the first time that I think I realized that God started to work in my life. But there was still a long path to go after that. But I still didn't change. I guess I didn't want to change. And some of my old friends called me and they were like, "We got this new way of partying, man. You're gonna love it." And so I ended up going out with them one night to a rave, and the new way of partying was eating ecstasy. And so the first night I remember the first time ever doing it, I ate 4. I guess you'd say my addiction was more, and I always wanted to do more because it made me feel like I was the man, like I was somebody. And so everybody wanted to hang with Trent because Trent partied the hardest. So, I got out and started doing that. And in that scene at the club one night, that's when I met Carmen.
Hi, my name is Carmen Post, and I'm 27 years old. Growing up, grew up in a very abusive family. Father was very, very angry. At the age of 8, he slit my mom's throat. I watched him slit my mom's throat. That night, he broke into our house, and my mom heard him, and he basically carried her outside, and I could hear them arguing outside, and I went outside the screen porch, and there he had a knife to her throat, and he cut her throat. So when that happened, I had to go live with my grandma, because my mom was in the hospital for a while, and while I was living with my grandmother, I learned that I was adopted from a girl down the street from my grandma, and that was very hard. On top of, my mom being in the hospital and scared that she's gonna die, to hear that you're adopted, and so it just kind of feels like the world was caving in on me. Around the age of 13, I ran away for the first time. I was very angry. I didn't trust anyone. Nobody was going to tell me what to do after I had been hurt so much, and very, very misled by a lot of people. I wasn't going to let anybody in and hurt me. Probably beginning at age, I don't remember, maybe like age 6, I got molested. I got molested by 3 different people. 3 people that you're supposed to trust. 3 totally different situations, and so that was something else that was just under my belt, just to be mad and not to be able to trust people. Maybe 13 or 14, I got sent to Charter Pines, and then to mental health, because I tried to commit suicide, and I was very uncontrollable. I think the reason I was so uncontrollable and the reason I did rebel was because I felt alone. I felt like no one was there for me, no one understood me. Just time and time again being disappointed. Dropped out of high school my 11th grade year. Started smoking weed, drinking a little bit here and there. Tried cocaine for the first time. Trying cocaine, it was different. It made you want more. It gave you energy. It was the bad thing to do, and I was the bad girl.